They are a significant minority here, but a new law approved by Iraq's president may change that status for Palestinians, stripping them of rights and a rank equal to that of Iraqi nationals, making them less than second-class citizens. The Palestinian exodus began in 1948 with the expulsion of hundreds of thousands by Israel. The Palestinians call it the Nakba, or catastrophe. It refers to the creation of the State of Israel and its occupation of their lands. The UN says there are now 7 million Palestinians living abroad. The top 5 countries with at least 500,000 include Jordan, Israel, Syria, Chile and Lebanon. Iraq was once estimated to have 43,000 Palestinians, but these have been reduced substantially. Like here, in Baghdad's Baladiyat neighborhood.
We have no luck, and the condition of all the Palestinians is very tragic. We are ashamed to walk in the street and say we are Palestinians. And when we take a car, we tell the driver to take us near the schools, and we go down there and walk up to the compound in order not to be hurt or insulted or to hear bad words.
Iraqi Palestinians were privileged under Saddam Hussein. But the 15-year conflict following the fall of his regime has heightened sectarian tensions, making the mostly Sunni Palestinians an easy target, especially for the previously marginalized and now empowered Shia majority. Hundreds of Palestinians were accused of being pro-Saddam and arrested. Many others fled the country. Will the new law now lend impetus to this worrying trend for Iraq's Palestinians? Shoaib Hassan, The Newsmakers.
Well, joining me now from London is Muhannad Seloom, Associate Lecturer at the University of Exeter's Institute of Arabic and Islamic Studies. And from Baghdad, Ali Al-Najmi, Professor of International Relations at Al-Mustansiriya University. Gentlemen, I thank you both for joining us. Ali Al-Najmi, let me begin with you. Why have these Palestinians been stripped of their rights right now in Iraq?
No, you know, the period of Saddam Hussein, they call it as nationalist. Then he bring and supporting from the Arab, especially from the Palestinian. And they work with him and he cover them and they support them and they take a high position. Then when they collapse and when the American invasion, the scene is different. You know, the people, the politicians, when they coming, they say we are against the nationalists. Then and we according that people as a foreigner because they work with the ex-regime and they help Saddam Hussein against the Iraqi people. And many of Palestinians, they supported the violence in Iraq and participated and sharing and involved with many assassination bombing against the Iraqi and against the government. In order that there is some wicked between both sides, and the Iraqi people and the government decided to relieve that people from Iraq because they are live till now and they are still working as a nationalist and they're working as a Ba'athist.
Okay, let me ask you very directly then. So you say that many of them support terrorism, support Baathism, and collaborated with Saddam Hussein. At the moment, there are more than 4,000 Palestinians in Iraq right now. Do you have proof that many of them are actually all these things?
No. You know, in Iraq, before in the period of Saddam Hussein, there are more than 40,000 citizens. They live between us, and they live as a citizen and the clerk, and they work even with the army. But now, the most of them, because they are the most of them, they are Baathists, and they are and some of them they work with the ex-regime in order that they left just the family who don't have any crime or don't have any relationship with the ex-regime. We can say now in Iraq more than 4,000 or 5,000 Palestinians live in Iraq, and they live. There is no crime and there is no problem to live in Iraq.
But so why kick them out?
We are talking about. No, I think there is more than 4,000 still in Iraq, and I met of them, and some of them go to the north of Iraq, and they are work now in the Kurdistan with Arbil, and some of them still in Baghdad. So more than 3,000 I saw them, but I think that that number is 35,000 persons who left in Iraq. They lost their privileges in Iraq because they have houses, they have money, they have cars, they have many things in Iraq. They lost it now. Iraqi government say they are as the Ba'athist, or they are as supporting to the ex-regime. In order that we are talking about two kinds of Palestinians who still live in Iraq.
Okay, fair enough. So Muhannad Saloom, is that a valid, strong argument for why we've seen Resolution 202 abolished by Iraq and those Palestinians have had their rights stripped of them?
Personally, I do not agree with the statements of my colleague from Baghdad, and I think the Iraqi government as well does not agree with these statements. As recent as December 2017, several weeks back, the Iraqi government made another statement about a clarification about the law number 76 of 2017, saying that all Palestinians' rights are protected and that they will be protected by special laws. And in 2018, I think the Palestinian ambassador to Iraq also met with the Speaker of the Iraqi parliament, and they discussed the ramifications of the new law passed, which abolishes law number 202 of 2001. So I don't think that the accusations leveled against Palestinians were accurate. I don't think the Iraqi government also adopts this rhetoric. However, going back to the very law itself, I think stripping Palestinians of their rights and privileges, which were protected by the Iraqi government, not only under the previous government of Saddam Hussein. Since 1948, all Iraqi governments protected Palestinians' rights, especially their status as refugees, and they protected them indefinitely until they return back to their homeland or a settlement is reached with the Israelis. I don't think the Iraqi government made these statements before or any accusations against Palestinians after 2003. What happened really after 2003, Palestinians in their neighborhoods, they were attacked by outlaw militias and armed groups, and they had to leave the country. And there was a pressure and condone, and these actions were condoned by the government then. And they were, I think, they were forced to leave their homes and go to camps in Tanif on the borders with Jordan.
Ali, is what's happening the fact that Iraq has a lot of problems? I mean, it's had terrible problems over the past few years with Daesh and so forth. Recently, suicide bombings again. Is Iraq saying we have too many problems of our own? Palestinians, you are a headache, so we're going to make it difficult for you so that the remaining 4,000 can just up and leave. We don't care where you go, but please just leave because we have too many problems of our own. Is that basically what Iraq is saying?
No, there is many reasons behind that, because Iraqi, as my colleague in London mentioned, the living in Iraq is very bad, and I think it's very difficult, and the bombing and many problems. In order that there is no one, the Iraqi people, they left Iraq but the Palestinians, they have a friend and they have relative in many countries, especially in Gulf and in Jordan. In order that they left, but as my colleague mentioned, yes, the militia forces them and attacked them, and because they say they are Ba'athist, and they are working with the ex-regime. But I think this is not right, because many Palestinians, they work with the Iraqi people and they with the clean hand. But even that, there's many Palestinians, they participated with the violence in Iraq. There is more than 300 Palestinian suicide bombing in Iraq. They're coming even from Israel. in order that that makes some wicked and some problem between both sides. But I don't think the Iraqi government now they will take the decision against the Palestinian because the Palestinian is Arab, and you know the relationship between Iraq and the Arab. I think it's become it's better.
So Ali,
but I don't think they will.
Certainly.
Yeah,
Okay. So let me ask you then,
sorry.
what do you think will be done? Because we've had Iraq's Speaker of Parliament, as was mentioned by the other guest, Salim Jabouri, mentioning to the Palestinian ambassador, we're going to find a formula, a legal formula, to get around this. So we have the law that was stripped, and then we have the Speaker of Parliament saying we're going to find a solution to that. What do you think the solution will be? What is it going to look like?
No, I think the government and even the Iraqi people, they say hello to the Palestinian when they are returned to take their privileges and to take their own rights. But I don't think that the parliament, they will passing this kind of resolutions because of this decision. But I think, and the Palestinian ambassador who work with the Iraqi government, as I heard, they solve many problems. And even I know the president of Palestine, Mahmoud Abbas, sent many letters to the Iraqi government and to the prime minister to solve many problems. But I don't think that the parliament of Iraq, they will decide something clearly and directly against the people of Palestine and Iraq. But the solution, I think the solution is to take them their rights. I don't talking about the privileges. You know, in the period of Saddam Hussein, the majority of them, they take salary, month salary. And you know, the Iraqi budget now is facing big problem. And the Iraqi people, they face under the more than 50% is under the line of poverty. In order that they say that we cannot give their salary as the Saddam Hussein gave them, we cut them.
Okay.
This is, I think it's very right.
Okay, so Muhannad, take away their privileges but keep their rights. Who gets to decide what's a privilege and what's a right?
Well, the Iraqi government is clearly studying the Palestinians' case. I think it's a shame that from the number of 43,000 refugees, Palestinian refugees, we only have 4,000 today. It has been consistent throughout history that Iraqi people and Iraqi government supported Palestinians. However, today what we have is an unclear decision by the Iraqi government. Even the law itself, it abolishes 2001 law 202, but at the same time, we don't know what is the immigration status of Palestinians. The Iraqi government says that the law number 76 of 2017 does not abolish and touch on the immigration status of Palestinians, which were addressed by laws as far, I think, number 51 of 1971. And I think who decides, it's the Iraqi parliament, because the law number 76 of 2017 was passed by the Iraqi parliament. Palestinians have had not privileges, but they had rights, and special rights, because they are treated different. They should be, and they were treated differently from any other immigrants for good reasons. Palestinians are not able to return home. They cannot go back to Palestine at the moment. And it's very hard for them to relocate elsewhere, especially those who were born in Iraq. They grew up in Iraq. They are law-abiding citizens, and they should be respected. The Iraqi parliament and the Speaker of the parliament promised that they would address this issue. They might actually keep their rights, and this covers their immigration status, because the current law, number 76, would limit their immigration period to 3 years. And then they should reapply again. And if they are refused, what would happen to, say, students, and what would happen to the elderly? So I think it should be fairly easy for the Iraqi parliament to discuss this and come out with a new formula that protects the Palestinians' rights as immigrants and also as Palestinians. Because I guess, and I think, all Palestinians everywhere in the Arab world, they are treated differently from other immigrants.
Yeah.
And I think the Iraqi government should follow suit.
Okay, that's an interesting point by Muhannad. Ali, do you agree with it? I mean, if we think of names such as Sabran Shatila, Nahr al-Barid, Yarmouk, and so on, we look at places like Lebanon, places like Syria, a lot of Palestinians live in terrible refugee camps. Some of them are double or triple displaced from 48 or 67 and beyond, generations living in refugee camps. Iraq was seen as the one country where it was different, where actually you could be a Palestinian with dignity and live a decent life. And even if the Iraqi government supported the fact that Palestinians needed their own homeland, it didn't deprive them of any rights to say that, no, we can't give you any rights just in case you get your own homeland. That was the one country where it was a little bit different. Isn't it a little bit embarrassing that Iraq is losing that status now?
No, there is many bases we must understand about the Palestinian problem. The Arab Conference always said there's no right for any Palestinian in any countries in Arab land. They don't have right to own houses or own land, because if they did that, they lost their country and they live in the Arab homeland in Iraq, in Syria, in Egypt. In order that all the Arab agreements say not allowed to the Palestinians. This is first. The second, Iraqi is different because Iraqi we don't have camping like Syria, Yarmouk, like Nahr al-Barid, like many countries. The Palestinians live between the Iraqi people, and
exactly. So why are you changing that? That's the point. Why is it changing now? Why now?
But because the ideology, the period of Saddam Hussein is nationalist, and they say they arise a slogan: "We are Arab, all the Arab is equal, and we are going to liberate Palestine, and all the Arab is equal, and we are going to unite Arab." In order that now they change the ideology change, because the Iraqi now they say we are a nation, we are Iraqi, and we are suffering from Arab, and because they say the Arab attacked us, the Arab steal us, the Arab hate us as the Iraqi people. In order that the ideology they different from nationalist to the Iraqi nationality. In order that they change, then they don't allow for the Arab to take privileges. They have many things in Iraq, established company in Iraq. In order that I think the ideology is different, and even something change in the Arab attitude. Not in Iraq. Now the risk, the sect, the sect feeling
right,
is coming over the nationality.
Now, about 4,000 Palestinians in Iraq, and even their status is in question. It'll be interesting to see what the Iraqi parliament does. But for the moment, I have to move on. Muhannad Saloom and Ali Nashmi, I thank you both for joining us here on the Newsmakers.